Hey guys, I'm so glad you joined me today. My name's Fafford. Welcome to Fafford Productions. If you're new here, please subscribe and like this video. It really does help. Give that thumbs up, a big grand slam. And without further ado, let's get started and learn all about the 6 things you should never spend your money on. Here we go, right after this. They insist you pay them, then you walk out. And let me get one thing straight. If they see that you're gonna walk out, they're 99% likely to remove any of those fees. So don't pay dealer fees at a car dealership. You just tell your car salesperson, I'm not paying that fee and I'm leaving if you can't remove it. And you better believe he will be removing that fee quicker than he can make his little way over to the manager's office. So make sure you don't pay those fees. Okay guys, that's the first thing you should never spend your hard-earned money on. On to the second thing you should never spend your hard-earned money on. The second thing you should never spend money on is bank fees, guys. The average American spends over $250 on bank fees every year when you don't have to spend any money because there are many checking accounts out there that don't charge any fees, and even more checking accounts that don't charge any fees if you keep certain requirements, like a certain, maybe carry a certain balance in that account, or maybe set up automatic payments, etc. But don't pay checking account fees, guys. You don't have to, and you shouldn't. Okay, guys, on to the third thing you should never spend money on, and that is lottery tickets. I know, but you want to hit it big and you want to make the money. The likelihood of you winning the Mega Millions is like 1 in 3 million. You have higher odds, as the saying goes, you've all heard this before, you have higher odds of getting hit by lightning twice in the same place than you do winning the Mega Millions. So don't play the Mega Millions, and especially don't play it commonly. Maybe you might want to play it every now and then, once a year, as a gift or whatever. But don't make a habit of playing these lottery games, because the likelihood of you winning is extremely unlikely. So don't play the lottery at all if possible. Okay guys, the third thing you should never spend your hard-earned money on. Late fees. Pay your bills on time. Don't rack up late fees. There's only 2 reasons why you will ever be charged a late fee. 1, you forgot. 2, you didn't have the money to make the payment. Okay guys, so for reason number 1, you forgot. Okay, there's so many ways to automate payments. Set up automated checking and automated credit card payments. Make sure all your payments are automated so you don't forget. Also, check your statements frequently. Log in on the app. You can use, a lot of times you can just use your finger to log into your different accounts on your phone. Just glance at them periodically. Make sure that you didn't miss anything. But more importantly, set up everything on automatic so it automatically pays these bills for you. And reason number 2, you didn't have enough money. Well, that means you're living beyond your means, and you got to cut back and figure out where you're spending money you don't have. Okay guys, this is a really important one. Did you know the average American spends over $800 on credit card interest every year? That's $800 you could be investing in a Roth IRA or putting towards your children's college. There's so many better things you could be doing with that $800+ instead of paying the major credit card institutions money. Definitely something they don't need more of, and you could always use more money. So pay your credit cards off every month and do a budget, guys. Make sure you're not spending more than you can pay off. If you can't pay that credit card off by the end of the month, then you shouldn't be buying that. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, use our credit cards as investment tools, so we don't necessarily always pay them off every month. And I have done that in the past, and actually I'm doing that right now, but make sure you're using a 0% offer. Don't ever be carrying a balance on a credit card with the full interest rate of whatever, 12 to 30%. Maybe if they offer you a 2 or 3% offer, that's one thing, but you should never be paying more than 3 or 4% interest on a credit card to carry a balance. And the only time you should be carrying a balance whatsoever is as an investment strategy. But reality is, most of the time you shouldn't be using credit cards at all if you can't pay them off every month, because that means that you just need to pay cash for things to kind of budget and keep track to where your money's going, so you're not racking up these interest fees. You and I both know there's so many better ways to spend $800 than to just donate it to Visa or MasterCard or American Express. Okay guys, the last thing you should never spend your money on is payday loans. Don't use payday loans. Please don't use payday loans. If I know you came to the end of the month and something came up and we didn't have any other options. Guys, there's so many other ways to, I understand maybe you got in a pinch, you didn't have any options for lending money, etc. Don't get yourself into that situation. There's so many things you can be doing to prevent that. Cutting your costs, budgeting, having an emergency account where you have at least 2 or 3 months of money set aside for times like that. In the future, don't ever use payday loans. Work on an emergency account. If you have to eat beans and rice for the whole month, as Dave Ramsey would say, do it, because you don't want to be using payday loans. Did you know that the average person that lends $300+ from a payday loan ends up paying over $500 in fees on that $300 loan? Guys, that's over 100% just for a short-term loan. I mean, that should be illegal. Don't use payday loans. Maybe I'm harping a little bit too much on that, but please save your money, put money aside so you don't ever get into that situation where you need to use a payday loan. Okay guys, so we've discussed some of the things you should never spend your money on ever. Now let's discuss some of the ways you can avoid these fees in the future, because we don't want these fees. We don't want to spend any money on these fees. So let's come up with some ways to avoid these fees altogether. Option 1, live on less than you make. I know I've mentioned this before in many videos in the past. I don't know. There's lots of times when I've mentioned live on less than you make, but I feel like that's worth repeating. If you live on less than you make, then you will have extra at the end of every month to set aside for times of need. Therefore, you won't have to get into these situations where you have to spend money on these things you should never spend money on. Another one, guys, have a budget, have a financial plan. Put together a plan for every month so you can stay on track and not get to the end of the month and not have money to pay off those credit cards or pay for those unexpected, tire blew out on the car and you do tires, etc. Pay down those credit cards. If you do have bad debt, guys, we've discussed what bad debt is before in other videos, but pay down your bad debt so you're not in these situations where you absolutely can't afford to pay down these loans, aka credit cards, and you end up paying interest, or you, worse, have to take out a payday loan. Pay down your bad debts. Get out of these bad debts altogether. And like I said, guys, save and invest. Invest that money. Invest it in stocks, bonds, put it into your Roth IRA so it grows tax sheltered. Remember, we use that tax sheltered word in many of other videos. It's so cool to have your money, instead of getting to the other month and you have no money or nothing to your name, you have an asset, your Roth IRA account, that is growing tax free or tax sheltered. Well guys, I'm so glad you joined me for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, please let me know down in the comments below. Also guys, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that like button, give it a grand slam. And remember guys, you can make your financial dreams come true. Don't delay. Get started today. And until the next video, guys, please be safe. God bless, and I'm out. 1, you forgot. 2, not ever plan. Put together a plan. Money, instead of getting to the other month and you have no money or nothing to your name, you have them. And remember, guys, you can make your financial dreams come true. Don't delay. Get started today.